Hey guys, it's Jerry from Slapdash Minis with part 2 of our tutorial on how to build a fantasy building. Back at the game chamber today, and we're going to add a whole bunch of details to this, put a roof on it, get it about 3/4 of the way there, and then for part 3 we'll do all the final little nitpicky details. Alright, to start off with, we're going to add some texture to the walls. The lower wall sections I'm going to do a brick texture on. Upper wall I'm just going to band around the edges kind of deal, put some rivets on there, make it all steampunky looking. And for the lower wall texture, I'm going to use this stuff. It's a pre-textured plastic sheet. This one has a brick pattern on it. You can get all sorts of different things. Within the last couple of years, there's so many companies making this kind of stuff, and it's dirt cheap. This sheet was, I think, 2 feet by 1 foot when I bought it. That's about all I got left now. And it was 10 bucks, so it's actually pretty good value. You just gotta keep an eye out on your regular hobby shops and that kind of thing, model train stores. Or just check out the internet, there's millions of suppliers. Alright. To attach this stuff, a lot easier way than trying to measure this and then measure here and then cut, is when you got big flat spaces like this, just glue it on and trim it to shape after. Don't worry about your windows and doors and everything, we'll get that afterwards. Alright, so first wall's on there, just kind of roughly cut the shape. Once that's there, slap something underneath here or do it on the edge of the table. Not sure if that's going to be in frame or not. See that? And just kind of carefully trim along the edge there. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect at this stage. We are going to attach it to a base at some point. So. And there's your first piece. Just kind of scribe and snap just like regular plastic card. And then just work your way all around, and then we'll cut the doors and windows out after. So I'll take care of this, and I'll chat in a second. Alright, so there's all the texture on the base of the building. Don't worry about the corners, we're going to cover them. If you didn't want to cover the corners, you can pretty much throw some liquid green stuff on there, file it down a little bit, and it'll look just fine. But it's all in there, just super glued on. Next I got to go in, cut out all the little windows. Which is kind of a pain, but it's a lot easier than trying to measure it and pray that you got it right so everything lines up. Okay, it's kind of awkward because I'm doing it for the camera, plus this little step in on the building that I thought was going to look so cool. Basically, just go in from the inside, slide your knife along the edge of the foam core. Be very careful you don't cut into the foam core. Maybe be somewhat careful you don't cut into yourself too. It's up to you. It'll take a whole bunch of passes, but just scribe it. You could also use a saw for this. There you go. Same thing for all the windows and doors. Just needs to be cleaned up with a file. I'm going to be putting door frames on it anyway, so it doesn't have to be 100% perfect even at this point. And now I'm just gonna do the rest of them. Alright, so there you go. Windows are all cut out, ready to go, ready for trim. Next, I'm going to take a bunch of, this is just 1/4 inch styrene plastic. You can buy it pre-cut into strips, which, you know, if you're lazy, it's a lot cheaper to cut it yourself, which I do because I buy plastic in obscene quantities. And I'm just going to do all the corners of the building. It's alright, so you can see that. Wrap it all up, and then I'm gonna put a bunch of big bolts and rivets on it, so it'll be this real steampunk looking thing. Once I get all that on, then I'll stick a roof on this thing. Alright, so now that I've got all the corners covered up with the plastic, this serves actually 2 purposes. 1, it looks cool, and 2, it's a nice hard edge for getting bumped into, so you're not going to get the foam all dented and torn apart when people are playing it. This stuff's going on the stores tables, so it's going to get knocked around a bit. And next up, I'm going to put a roof on it, and it'll really start looking like a building. And to do the roof, just grab yourself some cardboard. You can use any kind of cardboard you want for it. Well, not really any type of cardboard. Stay away from the corrugated stuff. You want like the thin kind of stuff, but anything like a cereal box, the GW boxes, or anything, usually just the box the model comes in. Try and, if you have like a shiny printed side like this one does, try and, when you use that, glue that towards the inside, because that can sometimes mess with your paint. So, cut her open and get started. Then once you got a piece cut out, just take your ruler, measure what your roof is. That line looks to be 3 1/4 inches. I'm gonna add an extra 1/2 inch so I have a nice overhang on there, so we'll call it 3 3/4. Useful trick to help you remember where that is. Just make a mark on your actual ruler. Hopefully I got enough here. And that's long enough for the nice overhang, so 3 3/4. 3 3/4. And then for your actual peak to the roof, just do a nice light 1 or 2 passes. You don't even want to cut all the way through, just something so it'll fold. And that's your roof. Just glue her down. Alright, and now you got yourself a roof on there. There's your basic outline of the building. Pretty much got all your main textures on there. That'll stay glued down. So I'm gonna have to let this dry, and I think that'll be the end of the video for today, and then I'll show you how to do all those fine little details, window frames, doors, and the fun task that's gonna be putting shingles on this thing. If I decide to go with shingles, I might have another idea or two. Stay glued. Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of stuff. Like a dead fish. Work.